Welcome to another episode of Grade Pending. It's your boy, as always, Paulie the Bull, no relation to Cavando. And today we got Jared. We'll talk about that name in your box there later. And we got Dominican Star Lord, aka Otto. Because of course we're here to talk about the new movie in theaters this week. That's right, we caught up last week, so now we can get these other ones out in a timely manner. We're caught up. So latest release from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We're going to talk about it. And like we do, to talk about it, we got to talk about it. So there will be spoilers if you have not seen it yet. Give you some time to go see it. But make sure you come watch us, like, subscribe, share, comment, do all that good stuff. And here at Grade Pendant, we have our unique grading system. Awesome, which is the top of the top, the cream of the crop, the best of the best. We got Dope, which is very good, not perfect, not the bestest, but hey, it's a good show, good piece of entertainment. We got Meh, which basically is all right, or watched it once, not trying to watch it no more. And then we got straight trash. I'm never watching it again. It was hot garbage. Get this out my face. Why did I spend money on this? However you feel about it. All right. And we do our individual grades. Come back, talk about it as a group. So let's get right to it.
So GOTG3, final James Gunn movie in the MCU. Maybe for now, who knows? And maybe do another one after he's done with his DC contract. Who knows? But it was worth the wait for Guardians, so that third Guardians movie. Kind of curious how it would have panned out without James Gunn, but glad he was there. Glad he did the movie, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. They got straight into, Rocket's backstory and what's been tormenting him. All these movies that he's been in, and I'm gonna say right now, I'm giving it an awesome. I'm gonna give it an awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The dynamic of Quill still reeling over Gamora, shows through. Seeing an earlier thing from Paul, seeing how Rocket was the one that was drinking and having a hard time coping with his life, then seeing Quill and this one doing the same thing. So it's kind of like a throwback, a 360 moment to that. But yeah, a lot of elements. It wasn't just a Rocket movie. It was really a Guardians movie in general. A lot of discourse with the band, breaking up a little bit, feeling like they were like, it felt like somebody was going to end in this movie. Luckily, it never happened, but I from start to finish, I think it had a lot of action. I had a lot of pacing to it. Maybe the pacing at times could have been a little bit better, but it's a typical James Gunn movie, and the reason for that name is because Rocket, as he was falling out of his dream space, saying, "I'm not a raccoon," and I'm like, he said coon, but but overall, I think it was a really great film. Like I said, I loved it and I enjoyed it a lot. I will see it again. We'll talk more about it later.
I was gonna wear my Star-Lord helmet, but Star-Lord didn't wear the helmet at all during the movie, so I will not be wearing my Star-Lord helmet. That being said, the movie, what did I think? I loved it, man. I loved it. I had some high expectations. In my opinion, James hasn't made a bad movie. I've loved his movies ever since Super, which is one of his best superhero movies that he's ever made. Regular hero movies that he's ever made. Check it out if you haven't seen it. But I was nervous because Phase 5 sucks dick. Phase 4 sucked dick. So I was worried that this was going to be no bueno. But to me, it is a DC movie because James Gunn is a DC president now. So I was like, hey, maybe it's going to be good. Also because I love Star. You guys probably can't see these two reacting. They're shaking their heads in agreement. So anyway, so this movie, I had high expectations, and it delivered. It definitely delivered. The fact that this was the last movie in the trilogy, and that we knew that before going in, meant that there were stakes. The fact that Dave Bautista was like, "Yo, I'm out of here," everyone was really like, over it because Marvel sucks now. Meant that they could die, and that feeling was present. To Jared's point, thankfully they didn't. But the fact that they could and it actually felt like there were stakes was a very, very big deal. I'm gonna give this a high dope. I want to give it an awesome, but the fact that they didn't actually kill anybody of the main characters kind of, doesn't let it hit that awesome. Even though I didn't want any of them to die, I thought they could have, especially when Quill's face was expanding in the end. We thought for sure he was gone because he didn't have his fucking helmet. But it didn't happen, and I'm sure Feige fucked that up. I'm sure James wanted to do it, and Feige is always ruining everything. But anyway, the villain was amazing. It was so hardcore. Definitely not a kids movie. I'm a bunny dad. I don't know if you can see. Hold on, where the fuck? Boom, here, there you go. This is my daughter Marbles. So I have a fucking bunny. So when there was like a bunny in there getting tortured and like it was heavy, dude. It was heavy. I don't give a fuck about humans. Like they could die. I don't care. But animals getting tortured and stuff, that's fucking heavy. And the fact that they had the balls to do it, I respect that. And that this movie was really, really good. Really hard to sit through, for a lot of people. I heard some kids in there crying. I was crying, but not for the animal stuff. Because they kind of, as soon as they introduced those three other animals, you knew it was fucking over for them. But it did move me. Wakanda, a bunch of fucking Wakanda. I didn't give a fuck, bro. But certain scenes in this movie definitely moved me. Again, you can't see my peers reacting. They're all agreeing and nodding with with me. Anyway, we're gonna discuss this as a group. High dope, very very close to an awesome. High dope. Back to you.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It's one of the trilogies that Marvel got right. They're hit or miss with their third movie trilogies. Iron Man 3, but then Captain America 3, which is kind of cheat code, but talk about that later. They're hit or miss with Thor 3 and 4. It's hit or miss with the trilogies, but this one, similar to Ant-Man, we expected a major, death. This is it. Stakes are high. Anybody can go. They all could die. Who knows? And instead of it being, that, we got more of Multiverse of Madness, where they introduced some characters to kill them off. You know what I mean? So they introduced, Rocket's friends to let them be the high stakes casualties of sorts. But there was an emotional attachment to that. Rocket trying to save them, trying to be there. This was basically the heart of the trilogy being Rocket all these years, and us getting the backstory to why he was who he was. I felt the first time I watched Guardians 2, I didn't like it as much until I watched it again and I realized that whole family, as we talk about a lot of movies, thanks to Fast and Furious, but family dynamic thing, and Rocket being the one that was kind of, I noticed then he was kind of like a glue to it when he had that scene with like Nebula and talking to her, and they had that back and forth and stuff. And this movie brought it all out. I thought it was awesome. Not perfect, of course. I was borderline dope as well. I thought there would be a higher stakes casualty. There wasn't, but I was okay with it. We know contractually most of them are going to follow Gunn. They're going to ride with him, and they rode with him. They were riding with him when he got fired. So we already know that. That was already expected. Sorry, Otto, they're not leaving because Marvel sucks. They're leaving because they're going with James Gunn. And he needs all the help he can, all he can get to, fix, DC. So, I wish him and them the best. He's got a 10-year plan over there, so the next 10 years, we'll see what happens with that. But yes, this being the send off, this being the end of this iteration of the Guardians, I don't think they should make a Guardians 4 with this new team, because if James Gunn's not directing it, it'll be something totally different. So it would need a new name. It would need something else. But I would love to see Rocket more. And the ending didn't say the Guardians would return, but it said the legendary Star Lord would return. So we're gonna talk about that and see what that means for the future. But yeah, awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Would love, definitely love to see it again. And we'll talk more as a group.
Wait, so your official grade is a dope?
Awesome.
Oh, it wasn't awesome.
It was
Okay.
awesome. I did go awesome. But I don't have a question for you.
Sure.
Your bunny's name is Marvel?
Marbles.
Marvel. Yes. Okay.
Marbles.
Say Marvel.
Marbles.
Marvel. Yep. I'm gonna edit that to say Marvel. Excellent. I knew you was a fanboy. All right.
Anyway,
Otto.
my question for you. Hold on, Jared. I'll answer you in a second. My question for you, Paul. Did you cry?
I got a little choked up. I can't lie. So me and Jared was talking about it. He said it was like 3 times that he was
I
caught
choked
up.
up 3 times.
Yeah, I think it was.
So
2.
I know I'm the only not fully black guy on this panel right now. What does choked up means? Be men. You were crying. It's okay. I
A
was
thug
crying.
tear. The allergies
thug
in
tear.
the pollen count is high outside, and I felt the sniffles because of
Right.
the itchiness in the
Gotcha.
eyes and the
So 3
nose
times.
a
It was
couple
itchy 3
times.
times.
I think I had like twice. I think I did no lie. I felt it when Rocket's friends got shot. That scene with
You
them
feel that
saying their
coming.
names, huh?
You didn't see that coming? You didn't feel that coming as soon as they were introduced?
I did, but like I said, even knowing it was gonna, I didn't know how
Yeah.
they were gonna die. Like you know what I'm saying? I thought because they had the kill switch in them, maybe he was gonna just use that. But it was just the way the scene. Credit to Gunn, the way he introduced them and them getting their names, and that made me like gravitate to them. So then when it happened,
It was
Floor,
Teeth,
Teeth,
Floor, and Lila.
Lila, yes. It was just so cute, My name is Teeth because I got bigger teeth than y'all. Like it was cute, you know what I'm saying? They were cute animals. Floor because I'm on the floor. Like they were cute. They had character and personality themselves. In that scene, like in the 2-3 scenes you see them, you know, and even knowing that Rocket's first words was hurt. It was like, oh, like it was great character development in the littlest of time. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't take a whole side movie or a whole side Disney Plus series titled Rocket like that. He did it in such a way that when they did meet their untimely demise and Rocket, in the midst of trying to save them, it hurt. It really hit. And I think when I thought that Star-Lord was gonna die, saving the Zoom, and it was like the reasoning again. It added more to it, knowing that he didn't just die because it was just in the moment. It was I gotta get the Zoom, like the Zoom fell, and that's what kind of delayed him. So it was like it would have been a purposeful hero's death, not just a
Had
last
Feige
man.
not interfered, yeah, no, I hear
Yeah,
you.
so
But Feige fucked it up.
like I said, shout out to James Gunn. Again, Peacemaker, like he finds that emotion within the comedy, within these misfit characters, except for the Suicide Squad. I didn't feel
By
it
the
there.
way, I know you weren't feeling that one. I remember we great funded it. But by the way, you show some respect to the Bat family, bro, and all the animals that were fucking destroyed on that planet. You said only the Rocket's friends, but also this dude, Annihilator,
But the
wiped out.
emotional part, I didn't know those other animals. Like we didn't get to know a name. Like yeah, that family that helped them with the car. Like yeah, shout out to them. But we didn't know them. They didn't speak English. Like
When they wanted to buy, when they wanted to borrow the car, and she looked at the husband, and he was like,
Yeah, he's like,
"Fuck."
oh my God,
He's like,
no.
I got like 2 more payments left on it. Like, it's a hardworking man. Like, he just,
Bro, the way they were driving down, you see them selling drugs. You see,
like,
you're like, you went to Brooklyn? What the fuck?
Can we address how the High Evolutionary was better than Kang in every way, shape, and form?
I do not agree.
And Gore, and also better than Gore the God Butcher, the God Killer.
So
that
I wouldn't say every way, shape, or form.
So many. He killed so many fucking animals. So he wiped out a planet on screen instead of like off screen, like the way that they've always.
He blew them up.
Yeah, literally blew them up.
He's top 5. I wouldn't say. I mean, I still got Thanos up there.
Doesn't he get points for not getting beat up by ants?
Well, the reason Kang gets a bailout because he's not done.
Well, he's not bailed out yet, but he's going.
Well, I don't mean Jonathan Majors. I mean Kang. Kang will return, so we still haven't seen his final form. So I'm not sold on him. We've seen him twice, and the Loki version, he remains, and I still got him up there. So I can't get a final grade on Kang yet. You know what I'm saying?
For me, it was just refreshing to feel like a non-sympathetic villain. Like this guy was just a fucking asshole piece of shit, and you wanted him.
And that's what I said. He's top 5. He's one of the best villains they had. His arc, his reasoning, it wasn't just I'm gonna take over the world. It was
right.
It was
I want to build a
perfect
society
in his mind. You know what I'm saying? So it was like okay, I get it. You know, he's not typical villain just to, so I got it. So yes, I say he's top 5. He's one of the best villains they had, and he's not dead.
They took his face off.
Yes.
Face off, and they teased it.
Right.
Oh my god,
Star
so
Lord
good.
told us it was a face off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rocket
Mhm.
scratched her. Sure.
Yeah.
That was for the homies.
Deep, bro.
I wonder if that lady's gonna need surgery too on her face, because remember when the dude threw the raccoon at her and he started like scratching her face?
And shout out to the CGI, because it really looked like his skin was like being held back, and it was
Yeah.
that looked great. Like, and they got
I
close.
think that was practical, which is why it looked so good. That was some good.
Whatever part was, you couldn't see where the practical and maybe the prosthetics, or
The
it
RoboCop
looked very good. Like, it looked very like it looked great. Like, it looked, and it was close up, and it wasn't like hidden in a dark scene where it was visual. They did a pretty good job on that. The visuals of all the CGI animals,
How did you guys feel about Gamora?
it made sense.
Yeah.
It made sense. It wasn't the typical ending where she's like, "Oh, I get it now. I must have loved you, so I still love you again."
Yeah,
It was, nah, I'm not.
I thought that was good that they,
I
Yeah.
didn't like her being so family with like. I guess because we don't know why.
Yeah, we didn't see that.
Yeah,
She
but
joined
her
them.
going with the Ravengers, and they're like, "You're home. We missed you." What? We don't. But there could be more to that. Maybe they make a Ravengers movie, and we get some backstory on that. But it was just like, "Why y'all so happy?"
Now, I'm a known Zoe Saldana hater because I don't get why anyone pays her to do anything and why she's in 3 fucking billion-dollar franchises. But in this movie, it finally clicked. Like, oh, she's good. She's a good actress. And her just being a dick the whole time to everybody for the most part, and her not understanding Groot at all. I was like, he's not saying anything. Why are you guys like? He's just saying his name. Yes, I know who you are.
And
Like,
she
I was like,
walked away when they hugged.
finally clicked. Yeah.
She looked. She was Thanos' daughter. Like, they're hugging,
Right.
and she's like,
Right.
"I'm just gonna be over
Yeah.
here."
But and that's the thing about
With
it,
this
like,
hugging stuff.
but that's what I liked about it was the fact that she was true to I am not of this nature, and she was opposing Quill, the whole time, and when they had that moment when Rocket was dying, and she's like, "Yo, just give up already. He's dead."
a pet.
And yeah, right. And then he's saying, "I'm not giving up." I think at that point is when she started
That's your second
understanding.
best friend, don't you know?
Yeah, second best friend.
That's second best friend.
Right.
Second best friend. But when that was happening, like I think around that point is when she started to understand who he is at heart, because she just thought of him as, just a baby, get over me or get over who you thought I was. And then I think at that moment she started to realize the heart of who he is. And then I think she started, and I think that's what made her say that part at the end. We must have been something, good, because I think she understood at that point, like the kind of guy that he was. But I'm glad that it wasn't like we must have been something good. Let's start now.
Let's try it again.
Like, I'm glad it was just do it and leave and walk off.
But what I didn't like was they focused on her and Quill, but there wasn't much between her and Nebula. Like they grunted.
Well, the grunt was not. The grunt was funny, consistent.
Yeah, but it's like Nebula is who she is now because of Gamora.
Right.
She was the one that made her
original Gamora
let go of Thanos.
Right.
So that should have been a thing more too. Like the way Quill was like, yeah, it's me, you love me, we should love. But Nebula should have, like, not to be that soft about it, but it was like they didn't really have much of a, you're my sister. And one of the things that happened was you kind of made me see things differently, and they didn't have any conversation. So it was like focused on Quill and Gamora's relationship, but Nebula and Gamora actually had a relationship too that could have been
they could have had
part of the the pushback too. So because like I said, even though she was from that time at that timeline, they were it was like Nebula was like trying to be better than her, and so it's like she could have looked at her too like, so why are you so different now? What I'm saying? It could have been something more to their dynamic. She ain't with that love stuff over there, but it was like we are family. Like, we're literally family. They're telling me that we became family, but me and you. So it was like they never had any. So that was my only gripe with the Gamora storyline, was strictly just Quill, but her and Nebula had something to talk about too. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they didn't even touch on that. It was just the grunt. The grunts was cool, but it was like, nah, they you know. But I guess
Yeah, 'cause
Nebula, because she's got the hard drive with everything saved, she was just like, yeah, you're from 2014, so
She gets it. She gets it. Whatever.
But yeah, I think that's what it was. I think she just
Yeah.
understood who she was at that point,
Yeah.
and she needs to find who she is now. So I think she just left her be onto that. But I mean, I think that was a powerful scene when when they was having that three-way talk, whatever. And she was like, and I don't understand why you're like, we're family. And then she said, no, we're like, this is my family now too. And I think she took a step back, like, fuck does that mean? Like but it was because of, but she's not going to understand everything that they had to go through to get to that moment. So she wouldn't understand that. Like,
my question for you, Otto, is:
did I think Mantis making Batista gay funny?
No. I don't know where you're going with that. Let me shut you up right there. But I want to come back to Mantis too, because I have questions on that too. But Adam Warlock. A lot on the internet, a lot of people, because they know
very upset on the internet. Yes.
Yeah, the Adam Warlock, he's a much deeper character who's done much more and so on and so forth. And he was kind of a MacGuffin piece to this movie. How did you feel about how they used Warlock in this movie?
I thought it was great. I thought it was funny. I mean, James, same thing. He did the same thing with Taskmaster. No.
Taskmaster?
No, Taskmaster was the fucking
That was
Vigilante. Vigilante was nothing like Vigilante in the comics in the Peacemaker show.
Oh, okay, got you.
Like, fucking get over it, bro. Like, if he did a good job, they did a good job. Like, Will Poulter, I saw he got on the Mexican supplements, juice to the gills, bunch of steroids, and then when I saw him in the armor suit, I'm like, when's he gonna take off his shirt? And then he took off his shirt. I was like, there it is. We're good. What's the problem? He was funny. He was a big baby. That the CG when he was flying around doing shit was cool. He was used effectively. They used Quill almost dying to finally to put him over. Like, yo, he's a good guy now. Look, he saved him. Shit. Like, I thought he did a good job. I get, as a comic book fan, I get being upset if you were into his original version of the character. But what are you gonna do? It is what it is. I had a good time.
And I learned that the Adam Warlock character was actually a remake. He was originally called Him or something like that. And that was more to what he was in this movie. So I think Gunn pulled from him and Adam Warlock and kind of made it one thing, because the Him character was literally made to be like a bounty hunter, to be like a gopher, like just, hey, we turn like a Winter Soldier. Hey, go do this thing. Hey, go do this thing. And
do I think we're ever gonna see him again? Probably not.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know where they're gonna go with that new team, and who would direct it.
But I also don't think we're gonna see Hercules again. And what's his name? The Harry Styles. I don't think we're gonna, like, all these post-credit scenes. Like, are we gonna see them ever again? I don't know.
Right, possibly.
Was it Arrows? It was Arrows.
Yeah. My other question was, do you guys feel that Gunn threw some meta commentary, like not commentary, but the scene where, like, Mantis was describing Drax? You think that was like Gunn's way of explaining or talking to fans who didn't like Drax's character portrayal, or do you think it was like fourth wall kind of breaking a little bit, or how do you take that?
I read something about that. Like, he used people's complaints about Drax and just put him in the movie. I have no problem. I get Drax was supposed to be a destroyer, and he was upset he didn't get to do more stuff with Thanos. But also, I don't care. I enjoyed what I got from Batista as Drax. And, he's funny. He's stupid, but he's also very funny, and he's got a big heart behind all those muscles and steroids. I don't know. I got no complaints on how they dealt with Drax. I thought he was gonna die for sure, and nope, he's gonna go be a dad and take care of those kids and shit. So I got no problem.
Drax the daddy.
Jared, what about you? Did you think that was like a James Gunn meta moment? Was he like saying that as a shout out to the fans, or a shout out to the critics, I should say?
Well, before I say that one, I have one thing to say about the Adam Warlock thing. I feel like, even pulling from him and stuff, is cool, but I just felt like they even said you pulled him from his cocoon early. So he has the mind of a boy. So I think it's kind of good if you want to grow this character or build him out later on. You have the mind of you have a mind of a child. You see this character evolve into something different. So he has he's not just a one-off character, or he's just a character and he is who he is. Go from there. No, you have a chance to actually build on that character, to actually see him grow, mature, and see, like, he was on the side of being a bounty hunter or used as that to save his civilization. and then now you see, when they gave him a second chance and they're seeing him save people or whatever, he's like, oh shit, so there's something more than just myself or my people, whatever, and so forth, and I think we even seen his mom die, or his so forth mom, die. You got to see a lot of things. So I think you get a chance to grow that character more if they choose to use him down the line.
I thought it was good when they asked him to when they were interrogating the guy. They're like, "Yo, show him what let's get some
Yeah,
information."
he said,
Toasted him.
what was the problem? I don't understand.
Toasted.
I don't understand the problem was. But as for Mantis, yeah, I think it actually served two purposes. I think it served the purpose to not just talk to the people who had a problem with Drax or his character and stuff. I think it even went to talk to people who, because we're in an anti-bullying type society now and so forth. So I think he went to talk to people about, just accept who people are in their light. Like, you may not think that they're smart, you may not think that they're this or they're that, but they are who they are. They have a reason to be here. They have development. So give them a chance and let them be who they are. So I think it served as a twofold thing of
Message.
not just, for Drax, I think it just served for just humanity, period.
I didn't think about that, but that makes sense too. And my follow up, one more question. My follow up to that is also, do you feel like it was a meta moment where when they were talking about Rocket and Lila told him the hands that created you. I forget. I don't want to butcher the speak, but basically she was saying like just because the high evolutionary made you this way, someone else made you a little bit better. Do you feel like she was talking about A, God, B, James Gunn, or C, one of the creators of the character? I forget who created the Rocket Raccoon character, but did you feel like that was a shout out to like? Because she said like I said, remember she said the hands
I think it was the hands. I think it's an old adage. I think it was the hands that make you aren't the hands that made you aren't the hands that make you.
Right, but she said more. She said something. She said it to the terms of like, yeah, he kind of made you with all this enhancement, but someone else made you even better than that prior to that. So I felt like, was it like James Gunn's way of saying I created this like I made this iteration of the character great from jump, or was it a god like creature that made it from jump, or was it a nod to the creators of the original comic book character who did it?
I've only peeped it once, so everything I took on pretty much surface level. So I'm definitely want to see it again. Are you guys gonna watch it again in theaters?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably see it again in theaters.
I will.
Yeah, but that state when she said that, I felt like, who'd you talk about? Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, is she getting philosophical, like religious wise, or again was it James Gunn saying like, this character was created for a bigger purpose before he was even because that was the thing. Like that was the big thing was the high evolutionary was like, yo, your brain. What is it about your brain? Like you're different from everything else. Like something about you is different. So it was like, who created him differently prior to even him, taking him out the cage?
Yeah, him saying that we made all these other things that are smart and so forth, but you're the only one that figured out. Even like even I couldn't even figure that out.
Right.
But you could. How the hell could you, if all people do?
Right. So he put the physical enhancements in him, but something else made him greater even before that. So I was like, that's interesting. Is it like again religious, or is it a shout out to the comics? Because I think James Gunn said Rocket was one of his favorite characters. So was that his way of paying homage to the original creator of the character, or you know what I'm saying? Like
maybe. I mean, I just took it as, being that this is like him talking to himself, because when you're, as everybody in all movies, when you have that death moment, you're basically talking to yourself, or you're having that internal conversation with using somebody else as a placeholder. So I felt like, his internal self understood that he was basically running from his past, or running from his quote unquote creator. So I felt like her saying what she was saying was basically just saying that don't be scared about all the things that he's done to you, or don't be scared about what has happened. Just understand that he made you, but he didn't make who you are. Like you're better than whatever that he did to you. That's what I took that as. I took
Okay. What about you, Otto?
Did you guys? I didn't get into anything heavy like that. I was more like, oh man, are they really
It's
gonna kill
deep, my
Rocket?
brother. You gotta look at the layers.
Message.
I was like, are
Lila
they
was
really gonna?
deep. She
I was
was
like, are they
dropping
gonna kill
bars.
Rocket? If they really kill Rocket right now, what's that gonna do? Are they really gonna kill Rocket? That's where my head was at. And then
And he's a born leader. You know, he's a
when
born
they
leader.
were like, he's like, when he said, "Can I come too? Like, are you guys having fun? Can I was like, oh no,
Bro, I was crying.
That was one of the moments when the pollen count had risen a little bit. I
I
think
was like, they're
the
really
air
gonna
blew in the
fucking do
theater a
this,
little
oh my
bit, and it was a little. I was feeling a little bit.
That nigga, I cried.
And that's when she stopped him, and she's like, "But not yet. You know, you're blah, 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 blah." That's when what you're saying was happening. I was probably drying my face, so I didn't catch all of it. But you know,
Nah, that like heard. I was like, yo, that was that moment seemed to me, like I said, I took it. It seemed deeper. You know what I'm saying? Because I took it as, like I said, with even high evolutionary stressing, there's something more to you. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like I tied both of those things together. Him trying to figure out what is so different about you, and her saying that. You know, I took it as there's more to that thing. And you know, I like I said, I respect James Gunn. I said about 3 times already.
we're never gonna see Rocket again. So I guess we won't know.
We don't know. We might.
Star-Lord will return.
Well,
Rocket.
but Rocket, the team could show up in the later Avengers movies. You know,
You got
Wars
Secret
and stuff.
Wars. Yeah, you got
They
Secret
could
Wars.
come up because they've been in Infinity War and stuff. So they have been directed by other directors than Gunn. You know what I'm saying? In the ensemble part of it, so that could happen. And I think someone like Adam Warlock could play a big part in that type of thing. So I think we may see them again.
But you know, it's even to what you were saying, you know, like the high evolutionary saying that, and Lila saying that, like they're all telling him you're more than what you're more than what your enhancements are. Like you're a lead. Well, I mean, even Star-Lord said, "Look, you're better. You'll be a better leader than me." So he even understands that Rocket has that capacity, you know, within him to be great. Everybody sees that. Everybody knows that. Like everybody kind of goes to Rocket, like that Nebula moment. You know, like we talked about in Guardians too. Like everybody knows that Rocket has the capacity to be great. Like you know, so and the fact that he's done remarkable things, like he even showing all his computer attributes, you know, early, like as a as a baby raccoon.
He was still a piece every time he took him out. He was still something, and then he had it all stashed. He's putting it back together.
Right. He was like
shout out to Shawshank Redemption. You know what I mean? He was ready for the breakout.
Like he was smart.
Quick.
But I think he always felt that his upgrades, or you know, like I mean, just that whole torture that he had to go through. I think he was just, you know, just trying to run from his past and stuff, but he never really believed fully in himself. And I think that's what he said. I'm tired of stop running.
Right.
You know, it's about time he had to start to really accept himself. My question to Otto was, how did you enjoy that intestine anal looking planet that they were on?
I didn't realize there was an anus-looking planet.
The Ogle Corp. The Ogle Corp.
It was fleshy. It was definitely fleshy, but
Wow. You know, I was in the butthole, but now I gotta watch it again and be like, oh yeah, there it is. Of course. I thought all of the set pieces were great, man. All the stuff was good. All the music cues fucking hit. The way that he moved the camera a little bit differently during the fight.
Yeah, it was like a shift to focus on the character speaking. Yeah.
Cool.
The hallway scene.
I'm really looking forward to seeing it again. Yeah, the hallway scene was fucking great.
The hallway scene was the moment where everybody was back together again. They had that.
I have a question. It's a little fresh, so you know, recency bias might be there. But where do you rank it amongst the trilogy, or how would you rank the trilogy?
I still have this trilogy behind Captain America's trilogy.
I mean, like within itself.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Captain America cheated with, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Captain America cheated with that one.
But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I have this one, and I would still probably have it after, still close second to part one, because part one came from out of nowhere. You know, none of us expected.
I see what you did there. Nowhere really cared. Yeah.
You know, part one, a talking tree, a talking raccoon. You know, it was like, well, what is? Wow, this movie's great. You know what I'm saying? So I think with this one, we actually went into it with expectations, but no stakes, and it was like, you know, it paid off on it. And maybe when I see it again, I might make it jump part one. But as of right now, I got it close second to part. And like I said, I grew a later appreciation for part two. At first, I didn't think it was so hot, but I still, it's like I said, the trilogy itself, Captain America excluded, I would say the best trilogy in the MCU.
Yeah, for me, I say 1, 3, then 2. Not to say that 2 is bad. I enjoyed all 3. I think 1 be just because it was the OG.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, it's kind of like
10 years old. Can you believe that shit's 10 years
Yeah.
old?
9 years old. It's
That's
9
crazy.
years old. That's crazy. It'll be 9 years old in August. But yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, I was actually talking to somebody about this earlier, in terms of like trilogies and stuff. Like she said she enjoyed the Iron Man trilogy, and I was like, but Captain America was
So is that the only trilogy she's ever seen, or
nah. I think she just like Iron Man. But at the same time, I'm like,
2 and
Captain
3.
America was a harder trilogy.
Two.
But also said that Guardians was probably like would be my favorite, but Captain America fucking cheated. So you had Civil War,
But
bro.
no, but Spider-Man too. Spider-Man, and I don't care what you say, Otto. It's a Marvel movie. Spider-Man's trilogy is up there too.
It's hard to.
Spider-Man, no Way Home. That part, that's probably the best.
so for me a good trilogy needs to mean all 3 movies are good. Spider-Man 2 sucked.
I don't think so.
The MCU one
I don't
sucked dick.
think so.
It did.
Oh.
Iron Man 2 sucked, so it can't
Did
count.
we grade that?
It's literally just
I don't think we did great opinion on that.
Captain America and Guardians. Those are the 2. And Captain America 3 cheated, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Captain America cheated.
it had the cheat code, but I can't fault it for that. It is what
And
it is.
also the Ant-Man.
Yeah. But that's all we got for this one. We got Fast 10 coming up in a couple weeks.
Do we have Fast 10?
We do got Fast 10. I think it's May 15th.
Are you guys
19th.
caught up? Are you guys up to date?
19th. What you said? I don't.
Are you up to date? You're all up to date?
Yeah. Saw 9.
We did.
Saw all of them.
I'm not. And I don't care to be.
Did we do
I
that?
think we did. I think we did Fast 9.
I think we
Because I
did,
remember
yeah.
talking about John Cena.
Yeah. I think I said like it dragged on a little boring and stuff. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, we got it on it. Y'all can watch it.
That's when they went to.
twitterradio.com.
Was that when they went to space, or was that part 8?
Yes. 9 was when they went to space.
Okay, so we definitely talked
We
about
did.
it.
Yeah. We did duct tape.
So this is good. I got my tickets. I mean, it's gonna suck, but I'm excited.
But we'll be
Bye,
back. We'll
y'all.
probably be back for that unless something else happens in between there. That's a couple of weeks away. Shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to everybody watching. Comment, like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. And we'll see you for the next one.